Hello and welcome everybody to a new video. Today I got a graphics card the internet hates, the HD 5450. It features 1GB of DDR3 and it carries the title "Worst graphics card you can buy new." But is it true? We are going to find out today if it deserves that title. Let's get into it. Let's start with Cinebench R15 and run the OpenGL benchmark. In the meantime, I tell you something about this little thing. The card was released back in February 2010 as a graphics accelerator. Yes, accelerator. It features a whopping 80 shaders, a huge amount of VRAM, 1GB to be exact, and the fastest VRAM out there, DDR3, and it's built on the best 40nm CEDA process. Just kidding. Oh, it's done 8 FPS. That's awesome. Anyways, let's get to the gaming part. First game we are going to run is Fortnite. The settings are set to 720p on the lowest possible preset. It's not a very bad experience, but it's not great either. Averaging around 17 FPS with a maximum of 28 FPS and a minimum of 10 FPS. Well, it is kinda playable if you don't care too much about frames, or if you are on a very tight budget. On to the next game, BeamNG Drive, the good old car crash simulator, which is a little bit too much for this little HD 5450. Averaging around 3 FPS with a maximum of 5 FPS and a minimum of 0 FPS. Yes, 0 FPS. I didn't stutter. 0. This is a little bit too hardcore for this GPU and absolutely unplayable. Don't even consider playing this if you got one of these GPUs. Anyways, on to the next one. GTA 5 on normal settings and 800 by 600p is just like Fortnite, kind of playable but not enjoyable. The explosions didn't bring the FPS down that much though, which is a good thing but also a bad thing because averaging around 13 FPS with a maximum of 16 FPS and a minimum of 9 FPS. Not a great experience and also not recommended to play on a daily basis unless you want chronicle headaches. On to the next game. World War Z, a world full of zombies and bad frames you need to fight against too. Yeah, not a great experience at all and unplayable for sure. Everything set to low resulted into an average frame rate of 7 FPS with a maximum of 8 FPS and a minimum of 6 FPS. Well, hey, at least the 1% and 0.1% lows are not that bad, right? Yeah, no. The game is unplayable and you should spare yourself the headache I had testing this, but it's still fun to do so. I'm starting to see why they call this the worst graphics card you can buy new. On to the next game. Started Shadow of the Tomb Raider with every setting turned to low and on 800 by 600 resolution resulted into, well, nothing really. In the top left corner it's hovering around 4 FPS, but the screen did not change. It remained black, but the sounds of the game were there in the background. So it's unplayable. Next. My favorite GTA game of all time, GTA San Andreas. This was a pretty nice experience to me. It stuttered a little bit, but hey, it's the worst graphics card you can buy new, so what should you expect, right? Anyways, this was quite a good experience with the resolution set to the highest option possible, and it remained playable at all times. Fighting ballers didn't slow the frame rates down that much, averaging around 28 FPS with a maximum of 43 FPS and a minimum of 18 FPS. On to the last game. I know, this is not a demanding game, but it's still fun to mess with a little bit. Dynamite, my father's all-time favorite game and actually the only game he plays sometimes. This was very nice experience, averaging around 57 FPS with a maximum of 62 FPS and a minimum, wait, what did I say? Anyways, it averaged around 57 FPS with a maximum of 62 FPS and a minimum of 50 FPS. but you didn't really notice the difference or the frame drops to begin with. So that wraps it up, guys. Is this the worst graphics card you can buy new? Yes and no. For AAA games and esports titles, this is not the card you want to look for. Rather look around for a used GTX 750 Ti or a GT 1030. But for some older games like GTA San Andreas and Dynamite and some other old titles, this might be a great card for a retro gaming system. But I think the GeForce 210 still holds the title of being the worst card you can buy, barely new. But if the 210 disappears off the shelves, the HD 5450 deserves this title because it's still a bad card. Thanks for watching, you guys. If you liked it, leave a like, and if you want to see more videos like this, consider subscribing. Dislike if you hated it, and I see you all in the next one. Have a good one, y'all.